Hello, my wonderful doll friends. This is Annie from Annie's Playhouse. Welcome. I want to talk today about Odile, and this is our beautiful Dreamtopia mermaid, Odile, named after her beautiful face sculpt. And the whole doll community really went crazy over her when she came out. And I want to do a close-up of her face so you can see. Let me take her off the stand on why that might be. I find her face to be very magical. Sorry about hitting the camera. There are 7 Dreamtopia mermaids that came out in 2024. And 2 of them are Odile's face sculpts. Now, I only got this one. I didn't get the other one had sort of like a Hispanic complexion, which I really did like, but she had an open mouth, and I just wasn't feeling her in the same way as I was this one. This one seems very, very magical to me. She really seems like a mermaid because she's not realistic looking. She looks magical to me. And for my mini-verse, the Barbies I normally like to get are realistic Barbies. So she doesn't really fit into that category, but because she's a mermaid, it still works for me. A lot of the doll collectors rebodied her to a made-to-move body. I haven't decided. I may do that just because with these stiff arms, she only has very limited articulation. That's it for the arms. And then she's got this thing going on. But, even the tail here is not even flexible. So, I may do that and then dress her up as a mermaid. But to me, she will always be a mermaid because she's not realistic enough to, play the part of a human, in my opinion, anyway. Well, this face sculpt was so popular that a lot of the designers have decided to use it for other designs. And one of the best received versions of the Odile face sculpt is this lady called the Pink Premier. And what's funny? I was going to pass on her because I saw close-ups of her and I didn't really care for the eyes. I'm a very big eye person when it comes to Barbies. I'm just checking the lighting and make sure you can actually see her pretty well. I'm just going to pull this light over a little bit more, maybe. Not that I want the glare, but I want you to really be able to see her. I'm going to move the eyes over a little bit. Maybe you can, it'll stay in focus and you can see the glare of the ring light. Well, she became the darling of a lot of collectors. Let me just lift my camera up a little bit so you can kind of see her eyes a little bit better. People really loved her. I was watching Barbie Nation, and Ariane, who I love to watch him, he's just very entertaining and really knows a lot about fixing doll hair and that sort of thing. He loved her so much, he said he wishes or hopes to get 4 versions of her so that he can, dress her in different ways and, redo her hair in different ways. He loved her that much. So I wasn't going to get her. And then when I saw Ariane's review, I thought, well, I'm going to be sorry if I don't get her because the moment's going to pass. At some point there we'll sell them all because she is a signature doll, which means, let's see on the box what it says on how many they make. See, they used to say, I don't know if they still say on there how many No, it just says the Barbie Gala collection series showcases ultra glamorous high fashion looks inspired by celebrated red carpet moments. I mean, certainly her look is amazing. I love the dress. I love the fur stole, the lining, the jewelry is nice, and her hair. That's what I really wanted her for when I saw Ariane talk about her and review her. I was like, oh man, am I going to be really sorry if I don't get her? Just to brush that hair alone would be amazing. But I just kept looking at her and thinking, her eyes are far apart. They're a weird colored blue to me. They're just not realistic blue. If you were the kind of collector that mostly collected fantasy dolls, she's perfect, but if you're a collector like me where you want to have realistic stories with your dolls and you want to illustrate your stories with realistic looking dolls, she does not fit into that category for me. If I kept her, it would be for the dress and for her gloves, which are really cool. They're like fingerless gloves. But do I really want to pay $50 for a pretty dress and gloves? I mean, maybe. If I was buying this dress from one of the Etsy designers, it could go that high with shipping for sure. So there's that. But taking into account that pretty much every serious doll collector on Instagram has a version of this doll or has this doll, I wouldn't really be able to use this dress that uniquely. I mean, other than have it, I would definitely use it, but it's not like I need another dress. And the fact that she's not articulated is another problem, because then you're needing to rebody her onto another $20 doll. If you're lucky, you can get maybe a body donor for $10 that matches her skin tone. But she is also well, no, she's not the athletic body. She's the singer. What did they call that one? The singer muse, I think is what they called it. So it's sort of like the model muse body, but this is the singer version, which I think they created for the Mariah Carey doll. So, I mean, to me, there's a problem with the eyes. And anyway, I got her, and then, I didn't open her up because I was still feeling kind of iffy about her. And then I was looking on Instagram, and my friend Andrea Loves Barbies posted some photos of the new Juan Gabriel doll. This doll has the same face sculpt, but she's painted completely differently. The face up is what they call that, but she has a complete different screening. So when you see the two dolls side by side, sorry about that ring light, when you see the two dolls side by side, they're completely different. And in my book, let's see, I hope that this is not glaring too much. In my book, this doll, the Juan Gabriel inspiration, I mean, she's not really Juan Gabriel. She's a doll that was created from that artist's, inspiration. This is what the gentleman looks like, who is apparently a very famous singer in Latin America, I believe. Mexico. He's Mexican. Okay. But, so this doll plays homage to, they call him the Latin American music treasure, Juan Gabriel. And he's a composer, singer, songwriter, recognized as one of the most influential Latino artists. So he was born in Mexico. He started writing music at a very early age and apparently became very, very loved in the Mexican music world. I was not familiar with him up until now, and I will try to listen to his music so I can understand the inspiration better. But I just wanted you to see the two dolls side by side. And, there's a lot of doll collectors that I'm sure would not agree with me, and they adore her and they use her in many ways. I have decided to send her back because, I felt that it was kind of, it may be a little bit much to get them both. And I really do find her as wonky. I feel like I'm not going to really enjoy her and I won't really use her in my stories. So I just wanted to talk to you about that a little bit because FOMO is a real thing. And I think probably for any collector, no matter what you collect, you have this fear of missing out. And we have often missed out. There were, different dolls that came out, like, that the BMR, well, he's a really famous example, I think. The BMR 1959, I think they called it, or BMR 59. One of the first ones they came out with was Tate. The Tate had sculpt with big, bushy red hair, very handsome doll with dimples. And the doll community went crazy over him. Now, at that time, my dolls were still in storage. I hadn't started collecting yet after, having moved so many times and having to have them in storage because I kept being in small places. When they came out, I wasn't really into collecting again because I had no place to put my dolls. So, anyway, when I started collecting again and discovered the Instagram doll community, I saw those dolls and, at that point, Tate was already, oh my goodness, he was already going for at least triple, if not 4 times the price he originally was. And that does happen. So sometimes when new dolls come out, if you think you're going to like them, sometimes you grab them just so that you don't miss out. You can always sell them again, but you never know. If they make a lot of a doll, then you might get stuck with the doll because, the price actually goes down on the secondary market, which, doesn't happen that often, but it does happen. So anyway, this is such a good example of that I purchased this Gala collection, Odile, because I was afraid of missing out. And also because of all the things that I had heard about her and how everybody was raving about her soft hair and all of that. So I just want to share that information with you because some of you watching may be new to the doll collecting world, or you may have some of the same feelings that I have, where sometimes you make purchases on a whim or because you're not pressured, but you almost feel a pressure of, grabbing that doll before it's gone, or that, oh my God, everybody loves her. I will love her too if I get her. I don't really know how to explain it better than that. But, because it happened to me, I thought, well, this is so interesting. I should share this with my doll friends because maybe it's happened to some of them as well. So this is the Juan Gabriel inspiration of the Odile, again using the Odile face sculpt. Sorry about that ring light. I'm not quite sure. I want to show you her beautiful face. Well, you know what? Let's just unpack her. And then we can see her close up without the glare. That's the thing to do now. So, some of you might, let me know in the comments what you think, because I am really, truly interested. I just saw so many reviews of the Pink Gala and people loving her so much that I felt compelled to get her. And I really am curious if that has happened to any of you watching, where, you've had that feeling, or the feeling of, FOMO, where you have that fear of missing out, that if I don't grab this doll now, then maybe I'll lose my chance, and then maybe regretting your decision. So, that's another thing. The buyer's remorse is a very real thing. By the way, I'm sorry I didn't review this box properly, but it is really beautiful the way they did this this detail, these columns, and I kind of wish that it was in a way where I could remove it. It looks to be a part of the plastic. If it was a paper insert, I might be able to remove it and use it somehow. But with the plastic, it will always have that glare, so I'm not going to try to keep it. But it is very pretty, very nice presentation. And here she is. I mean, look, I think that face is just beautiful. See, do you see what I mean about how it's so much more realistic than Odile, or the Odile mermaid? The way her eyes are slanted. She has an Asian feel about her, but with the purple and pink hair, she's obviously a fantasy doll. So I think she's absolutely gorgeous as a mermaid, but look at the Juan Gabriel doll, how gorgeous she is as a real person. And I am so in love with this doll, I can't even tell you. I'm really, really happy that I got her. And, now she's got that same issue where her body, I believe she's got the same body, actually. That sort of musician, I don't know for sure what they call that, but I think it's the music muse. I think that's what it is, the music muse. She looks like she's not going to be too hard to unbox. There were these little things on her feet, these little plastic pieces. And let's see, if we remove this stand and the letter of authenticity, then we can see on the back, these are fairly cool. I like these much better than all those tea ties they put on that make it impossible or really difficult to unbox the dolls. But these I like. You just fold them down and then bend them and push them through. I mean, that's the way it's supposed to work. I hope it looks like it's going to. All right, cool. But I'm very excited about her. And in some of the promo pictures, she had this big bouffant hair, and I wasn't that crazy about it. It's just so interesting how your opinion changes sometimes once you actually see a couple of reviews from other doll collectors, and that's really what happened to me. And a lot of these dolls, once you photograph them, they take on almost like a different light. They look different. Oopsie. They look different when they're photographed because you can really see them close up. With the naked eye, it's not always, your view isn't always the same. I love the way they packaged this with these guys. What are they called? These musicians. They're so cool. When I lived in Miami, there was a lot of this kind of Latin music, and mariachi, is that what they call it? The mariachi band. It cracks me up. These guys, I wonder how many Barbies they buy because they're on the, they're in the background. I mean, it's so cute. So anyway, here she is. It's pretty, pretty cool. Her packaging is not that difficult. We got her out pretty easily. This is still all attached to her. This is what I don't like, these things here. Let me grab some pliers. I'm going to pull that out with pliers. Otherwise, it doesn't usually, well, I'll give it a shot. Let's see. Oh, interesting. It's not actually attached to her head. It's just the hair. I've never seen that before. All right, let's cut it off then. I don't usually cut them because then it makes it harder to pull out when they're sort of dug into the doll's hair. Oh, but this, I mean, her head. But this seems to be just in her hair and not in her head. And you do have to be really careful cutting these, because I accidentally cut Vera Wang's dress when I was unboxing her. It's such a shame. You know, they just make it so hard to get these dolls out. And then if you're impatient at all, and these aren't, this is the best I've seen, because you don't really need the scissors if you wanted to take the time to really pull this out. This looks like, let me see how hard I have to yank to get that out. Yeah, well, still, it would be still challenging for a child, but you can get it out without scissors. So that's better than what we've been getting. And like I said, you can really damage your doll if you're not really patient and really careful with these unboxings. That's why I don't, I kind of like the videos where, like this, where they show you how they unbox the doll, because I think that it's helpful to know that it's really difficult, or that, oh no, this one's really easy. Not that that would really determine whether or not I was going to purchase the doll, but it certainly makes a difference, especially if you're buying for a child. I think it's information that you want to know. So these little tea ties are in her hair. That's super interesting. You know what? I'm just so happy it's not actually in her head. And I'm just going to give her hair, and it looks like it's sewn, or is that just stray hair? Maybe it's just stray hair. I just give her hair a little bit of a combing. They say to always comb a doll's hair and don't use those brushes, because sometimes it'll frizz hair up depending on the texture of the hair. So just passing that on. I've been doing that ever since. I think, I don't even know where I heard it from, but it did make sense to me. So she's got really cute shoes. If I can get these little plastics off her feet, we can take a better look at that. They look like really cute pumps, and I think this outfit is really cool too. It's just influenced. It kind of reminds me of a matador, that look. Okay, yeah, the shoes are very cute indeed. Is there a left foot and a right foot? I believe there is. Wow. Well, they don't want to stay on really well. Let's see. By themselves. I might need to put a little putty on it. Yeah, they're going to fall off, but they're very, very cute shoes. Very, very cute. Little gold pumps. And so basically she's wearing a bodysuit. And again, this is, like it's stitched on. So it's, it's challenging. Challenging to just sort of slip it off of her, but it appears to be sleeveless underneath this little jacket. I'm not sure how this part stays on. Maybe it just stays on by itself, but because they're, I don't want to chance cutting into that fabric by accident like I did my Vera Wang, so I'm going to leave it for now. But you can tell she has a very cute body. But it's not, properly articulated. This is it. Really cute feet, but no ankle articulation. Really cute body, but no articulation in the knees, only in the hips. And not even on the wrist. You do have the shoulder, and no elbow, no wrist. I think that's a shame. I don't know, because they sort of seem more like statues to me when they're like that. Back in the day, I've always loved celebrity dolls, and I used to, imagine that they were sort of like Madame Tussauds, wax museum. When I had them on my shelves, that's what they felt like to me, like they were wax dolls of the real people. But these days, I want my dolls to feel even more like real people. I want to be able to pose them nicely. Like she's a singer. Well, she can't really get this mic to her mouth to sing into the mic. So what's that all about? See, this arm doesn't either. So, that's how I feel about these bodies, but that's me. I think that there are a lot of wonderful doll collectors who would just keep her in the box and put her on a shelf because she is quite beautiful. And this was a really nice background. So, there's nothing wrong with that either. We all have our own thing. And when I talk about my feelings, please take it with a grain of salt because it really is just my opinion. A lot of other people have, very opposing opinions about the same thing. So, I'm sure there's so many doll collectors who are gaga over this Gala Pink Preview doll. And, she is quite beautiful, but to me, the way she is painted, to me, it's just exceptional. She's just such a beauty. And I'm looking forward to redressing her. I'm going to have to find a donor body for her. I'm not sure yet who I'm going to use for that. But I just wanted to share this unboxing with you and, just share my feelings about FOMO and sort of peer pressure to buy a certain doll because you're afraid that it's going to be harder to get your hands on her later if you decide you want her after all. There's a lot of those things going on in the doll world that surprised me when I started collecting again because I didn't feel any of that when I was collecting in, the mid-90s to the mid-2000s. Those were the high point of my collecting time. And I was just really happy with the dolls I had. I didn't even know there were other obviously I knew there were some doll collectors out there, but I didn't really, you didn't share as much because it was before the social media got to the point where it is. I'm sure it was before Instagram. I think we might have had, what was it, MySpace, I think we had back when it started. Anyway, I'm going to sign off for now. If I find a good body donor for her, I will maybe hop on and let you know. Otherwise, I'll save that for another video. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And please do like this video so the algorithm knows that I'm here and lets other doll collectors know that there's some fun videos to watch in Annie's Playhouse. So say goodbye to the 3 Odiles. Say bye. Bye.